Hazardous material identification. Hazardous material rail cars should be placarded properly. Prior to departing from a transportation terminal or yard, replace missing, faded, or illegible placards. Hazardous materials are classified into one of 9 numbered classes and 1 worded class. Now, let's take a look at each class to see the characteristics they display. Click on each item to see an example of a corresponding placard. For Class 1, the hazardous materials are explosives. Divisions within this major class indicate the explosive power of the material being transported. Remember, the smaller the number on the placard, the bigger the boom. Class 2 hazardous materials are compressed gases. Divisions within Class 2 indicate whether the gas is flammable, non-flammable, poisonous, corrosive, or a combination of these characteristics. Class 3 hazardous materials are flammable liquids. They are liquids with a flash point of not more than 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Also included are combustible liquids that have a flash point greater than 140 but less than 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Although less volatile than flammable liquids, they still have the potential to catch fire. There are no divisions for Class 3 hazardous material. Class 4 hazardous materials include flammable solids and reactive liquids and solids. Divisions indicate whether the material is a flammable solid, a spontaneously combustible material, or is dangerous when wet. Class 5 hazardous materials include oxidizers or organic peroxides. Divisions within this class indicate which one of these 2 materials is contained in the shipment. Class 6 includes poisonous liquids and solids and infectious substances. Divisions within this class indicate which of these 2 materials is contained in the shipment. Class 7 hazardous materials are radioactive. There are no divisions for Class 7 hazardous materials. Class 8 hazardous materials are corrosives. There are no divisions for Class 8 hazardous materials. Materials that do not fall under any other hazard class are categorized as Class 9 hazardous materials. This class includes hazardous waste, hazardous substance, marine pollutant, elevated temperature material, or have an anesthetic, noxious, or other similar property. There are 4 methods to communicate the presence of hazardous materials in a shipment: placards, These are diamond shape, 10 3/4 by 10 3/4 inch signs that are displayed on bulk and non-bulk shipments of hazardous material. You will find them on trailers, shipping containers, and rail cars. Shippers are responsible to apply appropriate placards to their shipments. Labels, diamond shape 4 by 4 inch. These are placed on individual packages of hazardous material. Markings. These are found on rail cars and intermodal bulk containers. If the car or container always carries the same commodity, information about the commodity may be stenciled on the car or container. Commodity information displayed may include the following: DOT identification number, marine pollutant warning, inhalation hazard warning, proper shipping name, and hot warning. Click on Documentation to continue. Documentation begins with the shipper. Shippers are responsible to identify the contents of a shipment correctly on their shipping papers. Correct identification of shipment contents is required by federal regulations. Misidentified shipments can lead to disastrous, even deadly consequences in the event of a spill, fire, or derailment. Because of the critical nature of this information, the shipper and its employees can be fined and/or imprisoned for misrepresenting a shipment's contents. When CSX receives a hazardous materials bill of lading, the information is transcribed from the shipping papers to the CSX waybill. Remember, all hazardous materials transported by CSX require a CSX waybill. Now, let's review. Which of the following statements are true concerning hazardous communication? Click each item that applies and click Submit. Once a waybill is created for a shipment, work instructions are sent out for a crew to pick it up. A train documentation is also created, describing the description of each material in the shipment, the shipment's location in the train, and the emergency response information. Now, let's review. Prior to departing from a transportation yard, which of the following should be done to hazardous materials rail cars? Select all that apply, then click Submit. The shipping descriptions provided on waybills and train documents are crucial. In the event of an emergency, incorrect information associated with a misidentified shipment can lead to serious safety issues. And, like the shipper, both CSX and its employees can be fined for failure to correctly identify the contents of a hazardous material shipment.